Catherine, or as my TikTok tribe calls me, Yeg Writer. Today's topic is business development. I'm super excited about this topic. This is my personal campaign that I'm going to be doing across the board and even on TikTok with the short amount of time of videos that we have to get a little bit into my history, because I've had some new followers over the past couple of weeks. I am a branding consultant, strategist, and a marketing writer. I have worked with some of the biggest companies on the planet that include Intuit, QuickBooks, government entities locally in my city. I've worked also with startups in Vancouver and different parts of the United States. Hey, thanks for joining. And in addition to working with startups, I also work with small businesses and medium-sized businesses and give each and every one an opportunity to kind of sit down and see what their issues are, etc. So as far as problem solving and business growth is concerned, there is a bit of a shift of what is happening right now. And as many of you notice, a lot of CEOs and companies and leadership are actually visible. And this is a strategy. It's a strategy because a lot of people want to know the top line of the company and who they're buying from, and the not just what they see on the internet, but people are literally analyzing behavior these days and making sure that they have some kind of a vested interest in a company before they pull out their money and spend it on an organization. When you're dealing with business development, it is very, very crucial and important that you have every different department in the team, whether it's the customer service, your executives, people in accounting, supply chain, manufacturing, etc., and that everybody gets in on these meetings, because it is so important that nothing is left out. It is so easy to get the marketing team together and communications and then maybe some executive level managers or directors and have a meeting and say, okay, here's our business growth strategy for quarter 3 of 2020 and into 2021. But the thing that a lot of companies really need to realize is that there are pieces of the puzzle to your economic issues a lot of the time based on what your employees are noticing, whether they are on the ground working with customers or they actually have some kind of insight because they spend their evenings watching the news, scanning the internet, spending their time on social media, and it totally makes sense to have these people in your meeting. In addition to having the right people in the meeting, you want to be realistic about a financial goal and how you're going to go about attaining that. And that is also why I bring up the fact that it's really important to have each group of individuals in these meetings, because they will give you a precise count of how much is being spent and what is being used and what's not being used and what the customers are saying and what the industry is saying, and really provide you with a roadmap as to what you can do next. I know we are in a very interesting time where the economy is shifting and impacting positively and negatively organizations and industries in so many different ways. So it's always good to have some sort of a internal business plan or some kind of a business growth strategy available so that you can use this information and apply it to your problems. In addition to business growth, you also have to ask yourself if you're doing online advertising, or if you're even doing advertising offline, for instance, magazines or billboards, or even ads in the back of a local bus. You really have to sit and assess and ask yourself, what is going to be more effective? Where are the platforms that my customers or potential customers are following are located? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they on Instagram? Are they on Facebook? And these are realistic questions that you have to ask yourself, and you have to be ready to open up accounts and start brand new and start off with no followers. I mean, for myself, I'll give you an example. Way before 2020 came, I knew about TikTok. I've heard many good things about it, about the algorithm and growth. And at that time in my business, I didn't feel the need to use TikTok. And actually, it was I was hesitant about the idea of creating nothing but videos on a platform that was so new to me. But when this whole world quickly changed February, March of this year, I started to ask myself, how can I do more and be more to an entirely different group of audience, even if that audience is Generation Z. The reality is Generation Z, they have a purchasing power in the billions. And although a lot of them are not working and they're going to school or they're, in pre-college and university, they're still trying to figure it out. Their parents make a lot of their purchasing decisions. And not just that, but from a perspective of actually giving back to your community, giving back to people, I think it's also very important to think about the long run for your business. So for example, if you're not on Snapchat and if you're not on TikTok, that you're actually on these platforms because teenagers will eventually become adults, etc. Or just some kind of a test of a new social media app that you decide to use so that you can have an entirely new audience that is more about community building than quickly making a sale. And so I had to personally make that decision, starting off with 0 followers, having about 25, taking a step back and really asking myself, should I be here? And those are some of the customer growth decisions that you'll have to make with getting on new platforms, stopping content on certain platforms if you've been there for years and you're not making sales or getting leads, etc. Other business growth strategies that I typically will tend to push, that I've been also talking about in previous videos, is the power of video marketing. It is very important that if you or a team member or people that you know personally are not going to get in front of a camera, to create some kind of a connection with your audience so that they are not only dependent on frequently asked questions sections on your website or your blogs, which may or may not lack finesse, or if they do have finesse, it's still not really creating a feeling of trust and a human element of personality, a bond, a rapport, etc. So if you have great people on your team, or if you want to hire people that can be the face of your brand, I strongly recommend it in these days and times, in a time where people are literally doing Google searches on CEOs and companies before not just going into a job interview, but before getting out of their house and buying something completely new because this is a brand new store or a brand new type of food that they've never had before. So all of these elements, when it comes to business development, require some deep thinking, strategic partners that you currently have in your company, and chats with your employees, and being willing to hear the truth. There have been many, many times where I've been in meetings with companies, and the moment that customer service reps or maybe the lower level employees start to express where executives are going wrong, sometimes there's pushback because the company was never ready to grow in the first place. And that's the issue with looking down at janitors or looking down at front-level staff. Your power is not just the executive team or the business owner or even the sales or business development. A lot of the times it is your customers or your business partners that are facing clients and customers every day because they're having real-life conversations with them and knowing what matters to them, which essentially is why each and every one of us are in business. I'll definitely have 2 more sections left, but before I do, again, if you are new to my page, click the follow button. If you love my Instagram lives that you see so far on my page, I have way more content on my YouTube channel. And because I love LinkedIn and marketing, LinkedIn and TikTok, definitely follow me on my pages. So I'll continue. I can also definitely say that in addition to business growth, I would definitely look at previous income earnings or revenue earnings from the previous years and take a look to see if the numbers are going up, if they're going down. How were you doing financially around this time last year? And again, putting together that powerhouse team from, again, the janitors to the sales department to accounting and business development, and having everybody, every facet of your company, whether it's small or big, sit down at these meetings and have realistic conversations about why the ball was dropped in a certain area, or why there were certain issues with this new program that came out, and you had to go back to fixing the bugs with the tech, and then putting out a public apology, and kind of potentially losing business and ruining a reputation that you already had. So these are real life things that you need to look into. Other than that, last but not least, before I end this chat, it's really, really important as well to have a mindset ready for what's to come. They are predicting that COVID-19 era phase 2 is going to be a lot worse than it is right now, which is super scary, because the last time in history that I'm familiar with that the United States or North America ever experienced anything like this was the Great Depression in the 1920s and 30s. Now, I don't know if it will get that bad or if it'll get worse than that, but I can definitely say that if you are not putting the time to look at your business growth, look at your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats internally and externally, and you're not doing that, and I know this sounds a little, time consuming, every single week, I strongly believe that each and every one of you watching this should definitely do that. You'd be surprised at the number of the pieces of puzzle or the holes in your processes or your systems and your guidelines that are just actually holding your company back versus pushing your company further so that you can get ahead in these uncertain but certain at the same time period of 2020. So thank you so much for joining. I'm going to be uploading this on my IGTV, and I will keep this on for about 10, 15, 30 minutes, the max, and I'm going to take it down. My Instagram Live TV long videos will now be repurposed and put on my YouTube channel, and I'm doing that because I want to build my YouTube channel, and I'm slowly doing that. And I also don't want to inundate you with too much content, since I already share a bunch of videos. But what I will be doing for the people who actually enjoy watching my videos until the end, the long ones I mean, I will be sharing at least one Instagram Live long IG Live video on IGTV at least once a week. I did that yesterday, so you can definitely check that out, I believe, or at some point I did within the past few days. So thank you so much for joining me. I have more content coming soon. This is a campaign. It's going to be a mix again of business development, branding, and marketing, which all kind of intertwine with each other. And for everyone that has been following me for the past 3 months, 2 weeks, 2 days, 2 years here on Instagram, I truly appreciate each and every one of you. If you have any questions or feedback, please let me know in the comments. If you don't get to this video in time before I end up putting it on YouTube, let me know in my DMs, and I'll be more than happy to help you if you have any questions. Thanks so much. Bye.